Okay, right now we are going to go into the forbidden, the legendary pound for pound status. This is going to be the most extensive breakdown of pound for pound status and where everyone should be that you're probably going to get on YouTube as far as boxing, period. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to break it down to you very thoroughly as best as I can. I'm not going to incorporate everybody in the pound for pound. I'm just going to stick with the meat and potatoes of what people love. Basically, I'm just going to stick to the juicy shit. Okay? So before we get into pound for pound status and where people should be and how this thing works and all this other stuff, because I see people warn and people are still asking me, Bruce, who is your pound for pound, even though I've already made videos on it. And yes, at times I've changed my number one pound for pound status, once given a look. But let's first talk about the whole pound for pound list in general. I was talking with somebody on my page, and they were expressing themselves to me, and saying that I don't like Lomachenko and all this other stuff. It's the same old crap. But I can't say that he didn't talk with clarity and substance. And he says something in there that I totally agree with, and it's something that I'm going to share with you guys right now because he's 100% when he said this. In case you didn't know, the pound for pound list or status or crown is bullshit. It's bullshit. It really is nothing. Okay? It's a make-believe crap. I'm just being honest with you, Pound for pound is something that people want to be able to exchange at leisure. This is why they give pound for pound status no criteria. Have you not noticed that? All these years and all these arguments of pound for pound status, nobody has officially gave the pound for pound status a direct and cemented in stone criteria. You want to know why they don't give you a direct criteria? Because they want to be able to exchange it at their leisure. And as long as there's not a criteria, nobody can really prove what fighter is really the number one pound for pound, meaning it always can be argued. That's why they very strategically never gave pound for pound status a solid criteria. So we can always argue who we think pound for pound because there is no guidelines to follow. All right. So let's first get that understood right there. Pound for pound status is bullshit. It's crap. It really is. Okay. So let's first get that out of the way. Okay. Now we're going to go into the number one pound for pound status. Okay. Now, anybody that knows boxing, that follows boxing, anybody who look at boxing through non-biased eyes and, appreciate the sport for what it is from top to bottom, those kind of people will tell you without blinking, without hesitation, that the number one pound for pound fighter is Canelo Alvarez. Period. Why they don't want to give this man his respect? It's up to speculate. Nobody really knows. I have my ideas, but I'll say that for another day, But Canelo Alvarez, without a shadow of a doubt, is the number one pound for pound fighter in boxing, period. Okay? Now let's talk about the other two names that he would be going up against for pound status. That would be Vasily Lomachenko, okay? And that would be Terence Crawford. This is how we're going to eliminate this, okay? The reason why Lomachenko or Terence Crawford is not better than Canelo Alvarez, and keep in mind, there's no criteria. So we're going to have to, in a way, make a substitute criteria, but covering all bases, okay? So what is the number one thing that they talk about? It is resume, okay? So let's go over resume. We don't even need to spend a lot of time in that kitchen, because when it comes to resume, there is no comparison between Canelo Alvarez's resume and Vasily Lomachenko's and Terence Crawford. There is no comparison. They don't belong on the same shelf as him. I'm just being honest. They don't belong on the same shelf as him at all. Okay? So I don't think we're going to find anybody that will disagree with that who's not a fanboy or a hater. Okay? Canelo Alvarez is stacked. Period. Nothing but names. Okay? His shit is stacked. Okay? So when it comes to resume, that's a blow out of the park. There is no comparison, so we don't need to spend much time there. So let's move on. What is the other pound for pound status based on? Fighting and fighting style. Okay? Fighting and fighting style. This is why Lomachenko and Terence Crawford cannot compete with Canelo Alvarez #1 pound for pound status when it comes to just fighting skill. Because after all, the pound for pound list is at least supposed to be based on who you think has a fighting style that can be matched up or would be hard to rival no matter what weight class you put them in. Truthfully, okay? So when it comes to fighting style, the reason why Canelo Alvarez outweighed Vasily Lomachenko and Terence Crawford is simply this. Vasily Lomachenko and Terence Crawford is about as good as they're going to get. You're not going to see no more improvements on Vasily Lomachenko or Terence Crawford. They pretty much are at their peak as far as developing skill-wise. They're at their peak. Canelo Alvarez is somebody who you have seen consistently grow. When has Canelo stopped growing as far as skill set? He hasn't. You can't lie about that. The man has not stopped, okay, developing skill set since and before he fought Floyd Mayweather. He's been growing and getting better 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 and getting better. That's facts. You can't argue it. That's facts. He improves every time I take a look at this kid. Every time, okay? Terence Crawford and Vasily Lomachenko, they topped out. You know what I'm saying? You don't see nothing different from Lomachenko's first fight to his fight up to now. You don't see much different about Terence Crawford up until his last few fights. I mean, I know people grow, but Terence Crawford is pretty much Terence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? These guys' skill level is about as high as it's going to get. That's a fact. But Canelo continues to show wrinkles in his game. Okay? Now, what part about that I explain that people don't understand? What part about that is not factual? What part about that is not 100% authentic? Because if you think about it truthfully, you can argue it just to be a dick. But truthfully, you can't be argued, because I cover the two main bases of what pound for pound status should at least be based off of, and what we know for a fact is based off of. Okay? So it should be resume and fighting style. Fighting style, Canelo beats them both. You know what I'm saying? Canelo beats them both. Resume, Canelo beats them both still. So truthfully, Canelo Saul Alvarez is truthfully the #1, without a shadow of a doubt, pound for pound fighter in boxing. It's not even up for debate. Okay? Now, this is just going to be part 1 of this pound for pound little series we're going to do right quick. We're going to do part 2, and you guys are going to have to tune in for that one. And that's where we're going to decide, since we're not going to use Canelo Alvarez, and since Canelo Alvarez is not on the pound for pound list that it seems with anybody, they just choose to exclude him, which I don't know how, then we are going to have to just stick with Vasily Lomachenko and Terence Crawford. But that will be in the next video. Leave your thoughts and leave your comments in the comment section. Bruce Vane, I'm out.